Hey folks, it's John and welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel. Today we're checking out the Outrider squad from the Indomintus box with 9th edition of Warhammer 40,000 that just released, and we're going to be seeing if we can convert some of these Outriders to be a little bit more Blood Angels. Everything in this box is easy to build, so we'll definitely be doing some hacking and slashing and maybe even some unorthodox stuff. So yeah, without much further ado, let's check them out. Okay, so I think 3 come on the sprue. I guess these are, maybe we'll try and do this individual sprue first, and we will just take it from there. So everything should be numbered fairly simply. So this is sprue E by the big number. I have actually failed on some of these new sprues before, and everything in this box also seems to come with like little I don't know what you would call them, like little nukes or something. So the idea is that I don't even need to, I'm just going to bend that one. Yeah, little nukes that'll, like, hard to see, but they'll fit straight into the bases. So grab one of the bases to show you what I mean. So these are going to go straight into the base, like so. And then I guess that will position your bike or whatever model right center of the base. I mean, I don't feel like that's really needed, I guess, but I mean, I guess it's to make it push fit. I'm still going to glue it because I'm old school and I like my models glued. I mean, I think you can push fit it, and I guess you could keep it push fitted for painting, but yeah, I'm just going to glue it. I mean, we'll worry about the nooks and crannies on painting when we get there. It's always fun to try and work out a challenge with the painting. So we need 27A and 27B for, I think it's a rear wheel. I'm thinking it's this, but that doesn't say 27A. Oh right, unless 27A up here. Did I definitely take the right bike off there? 26 and 25, yeah, I mean that's what it said, 26 and 25. This is 27A. I'm actually not sure where to snip that because these weird nuke things. And then 27B. What's it look like? It's like a little circle, like, so that looks like a circle. Yeah, this one, okay. Maybe they're all just like, sometimes on these sprues everything's always the same, right? But sometimes it's not. So when I've cut everything off the sprue, I really like to get in, and I use actually like a really old kitchen devil. Like this knife has been with me for like 20 years. But yeah, just basically clean up any leftover plastic from the cut off the sprue, and I mean, in this case, I don't even really need to bother here because this is actually going to go into the base, so it's kind of fine if it's messy. But you know what? We're just in the process of cleaning them up, and yeah, here you can. I never really understand how this works, but if you have a, I guess you want like a, you could probably do this with a Stanley knife, and it might be dangerous with a Stanley knife. I've actually cut myself with this really rusty knife a couple of times, or this really old knife a couple of times, and it has been sore, like really pushing, and like I've dug it into my finger. But for the most part, because this knife is so old and fairly blunt, you can kind of work it exactly where you want to do, getting off the little. Nothing annoys me more when I see models on the tabletop with, I don't know, whatever you would call them, the little marks left over from where they were snipped badly off the sprue. It just sort of ruins the whole immersion of them. So I don't take too much time on this, and I definitely don't do mold lines, because some people like to really tidy up mold lines, which is the lines that are made when essentially the model comes out of the plastic mold. I don't go there, but you can see all the little chips. I just put this paper down so it should be a bit easier for you guys to see what I'm actually doing. So take this off as well. So I don't know if there's too much customized options we could really do on the the actual frame of the bike. So I figure let's just go ahead and get that frame built. Let's put it on the base, and that should give us a good idea of size, because with these new Primaris Marines, everything is slightly different scale. I know that the shoulder pads and helmets are pretty much interchangeable, but I already measured, and I think that I think all the chainswords that these bikers rock with. Now, there are Astartes chainswords. Astartes, if you don't know, is the fancy new name they've given Space Marines. So they're Astartes chainswords, and they get an additional -1 in close combat. So, whereas a chainsword would just normally give you 1 extra attack, these will now give you an attack, and they'll also give you a -1 on your AP. But, so I wonder if like everything is just going to be push fit. Interesting. So where was it? Chainswords are going to give you a -1 on your AP, but they just look like normal chainswords, right? There's nothing fancy about them. They don't even have like an inscription or anything on them. They're just a chainsword, and the arms that hold the chainswords are the same. Just a chainsword, very little inscription, if nothing else. How does this go together? So I will eventually get this attached. So the wheel goes like that. I think the spoke is going to go right through the wheel, maybe. The wheel's going to need to face downward, so maybe. Easy to build, but they've got me stumped already. Right. So does this spoke? Alright, so that spoke goes through as well. I guess the idea is that the cut off bit of the wheel goes in the way so you can't see it, and then that would go across, and just like that. I mean, you could push this together, which I just have done. I didn't really want to do that yet. We'll just use the knife to try and unfit it. Ow. Stab myself. Okay. Alright, we know how it pushes. I mean, in some ways it's nice that you can just push it together and be like, right, that's how it's going to go. I'm going to use plastic glue on this one. So plastic glue actually works by melting the plastic a little bit, and then it sticks together. And these little metal, whatever you call it, metal rod thing lets you get a good deal of precision with where you want the glue to be. So we're just going to put a tiny bit on that edge. You don't need much with this at all. In most of these cases this will stick almost instantaneously. It's only like if it was something really heavy, maybe it wouldn't stick straight away. So we're probably going to put a bit of glue on the whole frame, and then we'll maybe put a little bit of glue here, so that, I mean, I have other bikes, and I used to have it where you could spin the wheels, but there's no real point. I mean, I think it's better to just have it held together well. So put a little bit of glue on there. I'm trying to decide if I want to put a tiny bit on. Do you know what, we'll just go with that and see how that sticks. I think that'll be plenty, honestly. Let's see if we can get the spoke in. That'll be like, yeah, if we get the front spoke in, the back spoke in. Alright, that's pretty simple. The plastic glue here might actually help with some of these mold lines. I see a little bit of a mess there. And then it hasn't quite stuck down the middle there. Hopefully the marine on the bike may... my trick here would just be to put a tiny bit of glue along this joint, and then I'll stick it together. And I also like to have like a bit of kitchen roll or something, because the excess glue will just dab off to begin with, and hopefully, there we go. We have a bike, and then these bikes have actually, these look like they're going to be very simple to make. Like, I think we're halfway there with this bike already, actually. So 818, and then I'm confused. We need 35 and 36, which are sort of these shields with the Marine's legs. Alright, okay. So that makes sense, because I was looking at this bit where they're putting the torso in. So we need... That's 23 and 24. That's 28, 12, 35 up here. Where on earth is 36? 36, alright. So again, we'll snip these off. I'm not overly worried about how accurate I am with snipping, but that's because we do a quick bit of cleanup. I think that you could be more accurate. Maybe you have better. It might be worth saying actually that all the tools that I'm using here are like pretty. You know, none of them are official tools. Like, these are like garden shears or something. The glue is obviously the Revel model glue, but I find it's very good, and you get it in packs of 3 very cheaply. And then, as I mentioned before, this knife is definitely not the right tool for the job, but it's fine. You know, having a little bit of precision with it is just absolutely fine. So we'll just get off there. I don't know if you can see that, but there is tiny little the little attachments are dead easy to come off, right? Like, you can just get them off with a knife in 2 seconds flat, and if the knife's fairly blunt, like, you don't cut yourself very often. 2 more up here. Can't decide if that's supposed to be. I think that was a mistake. It's hard to tell. I'm just going to take that bit off. I don't think it's needed. If it was needed, oh well. I mean, I guess when you're making these things for the first time, or when you're making any models, you decide how they look. And that'll be one. Maybe there was a little bit of attachment or a little bit of join on his head. But the detail they get now in these is very cool. So you've got, in this case, you've got the actual head of the Marine attached to his leg for the sidecar of the bike. So he kind of, like, that's going to stick on like that. We'll clean up this other side, and then I think at that point we need to start thinking about like what modification we can do to make it more Blood Angels. And there's definitely going to be some, because I just don't like not. I know you can put transfers on them, and I do. Like in some of my other videos, I'll share that I'll show you transfers and I'll show you how I do it, and yeah, just in this one, we're definitely not going to be happy. I feel like just transfers are fine if it's on like one model, right? But if you're doing, like, let's say that, for example, this is a squad of 3, so I definitely want to have at least its sergeant, like a different helmet, hopefully a different shoulder pad. I mean, like, I'm sure that there's some differences from the default kit, but as a serious Blood Angel player, I love my Blood Angels. we really want to take it one step further. So okay, and I think it's when you're doing this, it's quite hard to make a mistake, right? Like the plastic, the knife will glide over, and you only really take off the extra bit that's left from when you clip it off the mould. So, right. So the next step is to get his legs on, I think, but I actually think, looking at this example, we need to have his body in there first, or at least have his body ready, so that when we... Alright, so these will go right through both sides, and that they'll clip in like that. I'm just trying not to push it fully closed yet. So yeah, we're going to need to have the body in there. I actually think there's a little hole on the seat for the body, so that's kind of... I didn't know... Oh shit. Yeah. That just bent away that it was definitely not supposed to. Don't worry, don't worry. Alright, let's get a body together. Do you know what? It wouldn't be a making video if something didn't go wrong. So body number 30, and chest plate number 29. And it does show here like the backpack, which is 31. And one more thing, I think. No, it shows the head. Okay. Okay, so just clean up the backpack real quick. Clean up any of the body joints. I think it was just one on the side, and the other two are in the legs, so you're not actually really going to see them, but we'll just clean them up a little bit. And then the actual body part. And the arms, I guess, are the other connections. Ow. Alright, so at that point, I mean, this body will sit in there. Yep, so that's how they've done it, and this part will sit attached to it. Yep. I don't know why I keep pushing them together without glue, because I am going to glue them all, so I just end up unsticking them with the... I blocked the glue already. You are an idiot, John. There we go, okay. So I guess if you block the glue, you are quick and you scrape the top off, you can unstick it. I've done that plenty of times. That's what's wrong with that glue in there, the top stam's stuck on it as well. There's actually plenty of glue left in that one, but it comes out now like a river. We're going to put a bit of glue on the base where it's going to sit. And put them in like so. So we have our little biker sitting ready for the rest of his legs to be attached, and then at that point we're gonna see what we can do. You won't stand yet. Okay, so the tricky bit now, I suppose, will be to get, well, these only go on one side, and they're sort of pretty much push fit, and then there's two connectors here, so put a tiny bit of glue on these bits. There's also a connector near his feet, and I think these bits are going to lie flush against the back wheel. So let's try putting that on there. So this is the side that didn't bend in a horrible, awkward way yet. Yeah, so those bits don't actually connect. Well, in that case, I'm going to get my bit of kitchen roll and I'm going to wipe that bit of glue off there because it's not needed. It's not going to be the easiest bit to get to, of course, but we'll try anyway. So I think I probably got it. I didn't put much in. Yeah, okay. So I guess the engines sort of float off the wheel. I mean, sure, I guess that's probably how modern bikes actually do work. And then on this side, where we already bent it in a horrible way, we'll put some glue in there. We'll put some glue in both these connectors, and I guess we'll just hope that there's enough of a connection on the feet. Yeah, that's all. Ski whiff, come on. I don't want to break it any more than it already is. Right, I'm really going to push that solid because it did bend horribly. Oh, okay, and then it's gonna snap at the top there. Put a tiny bit of glue in the middle there. And then wipe off the excess because it's not needed. Okay, so we sort of saved him. The legs are on. The case for the bike is on. He's starting to look pretty cool, right? I'm not sure if that's supposed to be flush in there, but we'll see. He kind of, I feel like he wants to stand, but they have you putting on a bit more before we put him on his base, but I feel like we can base him now. So just on the edges of the contacts, because that's where it's going to attach to the base. And then I think it's either way. Or is it? Yeah, there we go. Wipe off any of those excess glue. It's quite a cool size model actually. Right. So next up, what we would have is we put on the head. That bit is like way sticking out there. I don't know if that's right. I feel like it's not. I feel like it's because I bent it and it went all ski with. You can tell when you've overbent it because the plastic was white. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that in there, but there's a wee mark of white in there where that leg got bent kind of in the wrong way. Alright, and then it's supposed to, cool, alright, so it's supposed to clip into his body, which now it has clipped in. I didn't get any glue in there, but I think that connection is strong enough where it's it's going to hold fine. And maybe I'll put the tiniest bit of glue where these two things connect here. Just to hold these in place. I don't know if it necessarily needs it. I mean, it probably doesn't need it because it's easy to build, but yeah, okay, so at that point all we really need to do to finish off the Space Marine then is his arms, and he can, it looks like he's either driving with one arm and shooting, and then he has a chainsword attached to his, there's a hole in his leg, I guess, where the chainsword will attach. There was one that had, interesting, so the one that has a chainsword attached to his leg, we can definitely find a cooler chainsword than that, because that's a -1 chainsword and it looks like a boring ass chainsword. And we'll put 34 on because that's his arms. Or sorry, that's his other arm that's actually driving the vehicle. So it's important for you to keep at least one hand on your vehicle when you're driving, even if you're a Space Marine. So clean up this real quick. One second. So it would literally just stick on there, and we'd need oh, wrong page. 33 is like the shoulder that attaches to the arm. 33. You know, there's not much to this shoulder that attaches to the arm. Like, it's just a shoulder pad and a tiny little bit of arm. Has me sort of feeling sad that they didn't, like, it even looks like the model, like it even looks like it could be two separate pieces, right? But it's just the one, and then as it's one, we're sort of stuck. Okay, the first thing I think we'll do is we will, it's kind of hard to know what to do, like, I guess because it's all snap fit, like, where would I put the glue? No, don't drop it on the floor, that's not cool. We'll put a tiny bit of glue on here. When we do this, I guess we'll work on borrowed time, so we'll have to be quick. So I'll put on some glue there, we'll put a bit of glue in here, and we'll put a bit of glue on the arm joint. I turn that out of the way at the moment so we can get this down bit, or the down handles in. I actually sort of now, looking at this, think that the handles should have been on before we put the sides on. But it does not make that clear at all. Yeah, the handles should have been on first. Alright, so we're gonna snip this bit where the handle is attached to. And then we'll get the handles in. And then we'll try and rotate this so it's attached. Well, this is the botched job if you ever saw it. Right, somehow we've saved it, I think. The handle is on, the arm is on. I hope we saved it. Could go either way. Don't tell me the backpack was supposed to go on as well before he went down. If that was... Yeah, I mean, I think the backpack was supposed to go on as well. It didn't make it clear if you're working left to right or up to down. I think that means that you're supposed to work down, but at the same time it's not like 100% clear. Right, we're snipping this part as well. To try and get, yeah, okay, so it's snipped enough where I can actually get it into its hole. So yeah. Come on. Oh, the arms come off. Let's put a tiny bit more glue on there. And then I'm going to try and wipe off some of that extra glue again. I'd try and straighten up this backpack because it is squint as all hell right now. It's going to be tricky to paint that backpack with him. You know, I would, if the Marine lifted off, which he doesn't, then you could almost lift him off, paint, and then put him back down. But because he's so attached in terms of like his legs were attached to the sides here, and his base needed put in, like, this is going to be a challenge to paint that backpack over this metal bar. Like, they're so close together, it's ridiculous. Like, they're literally touching. But, okay, I mean, who doesn't like a bit of a challenge? If it's no challenge, it's no fun, right? So next up is we need to get him an arm with a gun. And it looks like it's just a bolt pistol. Let's see if we can see what this arm looks like. It is arm number 32. So it's a very basic arm with a bolt pistol, I feel like. It's probably a heavy bolt pistol, so of course it's not compatible with the old Marines, which, as you can see, I have a million boxes of, and we always used to do some really fun conversions. But that won't stop us. I swear it will not stop us. So it's a bolt pistol. Let me have a look. What we do have, I think I saw it earlier. Oh, cool. We also, I was looking for that. That's an interesting backpack. It might not work with these jump troopers because it won't work with the bikes because of the long purity seal. But it will probably work with something else from Primaris. So it's good we've got that. And then, yeah, so here's I think this is an old Reaver arm. So if we compare the two guns, the Reaver pistol and the Blade Guard pistol, there's very little difference in them. I think the only difference is the Blade Guard pistol has a bit of a barrel on the end of the gun, whereas the Reaver one really doesn't. So I'm thinking that if you're looking at the model down, you're not going to notice that. So what we'll probably do is see if we can't. I think we could have a cool one where this gun is. So when you put the gun on here, let's just try it. The gun is aimed where? Right, so the gun is aimed very out. I didn't clean that gun actually. Or at least I didn't clean the top of it. I thought we took it off the barrel, my bad. Whereas if we did this one, the gun would be aimed in a bit. Interesting. I'm going to try and do something here. I haven't decided what I'm going to try and do. but I'm going to try and do something to get some sort of better shoulder pad on him. Like maybe we could have one of the winged Blood Angels ones. So it can be quite crude, but one of the things you can do is you can literally just start hacking at bits off this and make it small enough so it would fit within the shoulder pad. I'm not sure this winged sanguinary guy shoulder is the right call for this. We have regular Blood Angels shoulders, plenty of those. You know, we've got some Blood Angel upgrade sprues here, old ones and new ones. This thing would be pretty cool, the sort of Death Aquila thing. We'll take that off. I think we'll put that on top of his backpack. I think that'll be cool for sure. I mean, and the helmet that they give you or they recommend, what does his actual head look like? Right, so they give you regular Primaris heads, which is fine, and then they give you an unhelmeted guy. So you get 2 Primaris helmets and an unhelmeted guy. Well, I'm not interested in that. I have a little bag here with all Blood Angels helmets. So we shall go with, you know, I'm tempted to go with a beak helm, but do you know what, an incessor helm might be quite cool. Like he is, if this guy's going to be the sergeant, then you would think he would be in communication with people, right? So an incensor helmet, yeah, I mean, I kind of dig that. I mean, it's not really a Blood Angels helmet, so to speak, but it is interesting. We also have Reaver helmets, where we have a beaky. I was thinking I was going to put the beaky on the assault squad. Something else I do like putting on are the helmets with the wreaths. That's quite cool. Or you can put on like this sort of gold sanguinary uncovered head. But yeah, do you know what? I think I'm actually, as much as I want this guy to be Blood Angels. Oh, the reason he's got his Primaris helmet down by the side. Okay. Okay. Then, do you know what? We'll put on a... We don't often do uncovered heads, but we'll put on an uncovered head. But do you know what? We'll put on a... We'll put on like a more angelic I'm trying to say, it'll be a more angelic head. Like this guy's hairless, whereas this guy's got like a great mane. Well, like the Blood Angels, they pride themselves on being beautiful, right? So I'm just taking some of the paint off that because at some point that's been undercoated. My little bag of helmets has been around for many a years, so we'll put in this gorgeous Blood Angels helmet, and on his backpack we'll quickly clean and attach this Aquila. Tiniest bit of glue on this thing because it doesn't need much to stick it really. And we'll try and get it right bang in the middle. I got a little bit too much glue there, I think. Balls. Come on, you want to stick. Contact point is very small on this thing. There we go. Beautiful. Right. How are we going to get a Blood Angel shoulder pad onto this guy? And what shoulder pad are we going to go with? That's the most important question right now. Don't have any shoulders in there. And then also, what chain sword are we going to rock with? It's going to be interesting. I need to find a chain sword that hasn't got a hand attached to it. I mean, I've got these ones, but they're probably going to be quite a bit smaller than the Astartes chain swords. So, I'll give you an example. So there's an old chain sword, or sorry, there's the new Astartes chain sword, and there's an older chain sword. So it's like maybe 3/4 of the length. Not sure you can see that. But yeah, so that's the difference. We'll worry about the chain sword in a minute. These shoulder pads look like they work quite well with the trim. A trim on this one is going to be very close to his backpack if the gun's going to stick forward. So let's see what we've got. I'm kind of looking for one that's got wings out the side. Yeah, here, the first one I pick up. So that's got little wings out the side. I did put sanguinary guard ones on other bikers, and they did look pretty cool. You do also have these sort of like little winged things that the Death Company come with. So we're going to put these on. Interesting, and we also have some sort of like, I don't know what that is. It's like a storm shield, or it's a shield or something, and maybe it came off a dreadnought, but you know, looking at it, it actually looks like it could work quite well on the front of the bike. Like it might look like a little bit extra armour. I think I'm going to make that work there, honestly. Okay, so if we found something else interesting. I don't think I'm finding what I want here. Okay. Let's try a Blood Angels tactical squad. Maybe they've got some cool shoulders. Shoulders. See, this is a cool one. Doesn't have any wings or anything to it, but it's definitely interesting. It's got a lot of detail. If you're wondering why I have so many boxes, the answer, I guess, is so many boxes of unbuilt stuff. The answer is just cause. Just cause. Ah, here we go. Look at the Death Company. They always save the day, don't they? You always need a box of Death Company Marines. You get so many cool shoulders. That one's got a cool skull on it. I feel like these guys are going to be up in close combat, dealing damage. I haven't actually seen this skull much, and like, I don't know if I've used it before, but yeah. We're going to have fun with this one. So, what I'm going to do now is unorthodox, but it's going to get done. I've done this before, and usually it works out okay. I'm not happy with how that came off that sprue actually. I don't know if I damaged it or maybe it'll look like battle mark. Just need to make sure it's cleaned up enough. Right, so what we'll do now is we'll take the actual bolt gun that came with it because I like the angle that it was showing at, and we're literally just going to go in and we're going to start snipping off the outside shoulder pad. I guess we're going to try and not damage too much of the arm because we'll need that because that's what we're trying to keep. But we're going to take this shoulder pad off. One bit at a time, I guess. So you can literally see that like we're just hacking at the shoulder pad. And the idea is that we hack enough of it away that it'll sit nicely within this Blood Angel shoulder pad, and then you won't even know about the monstrosity that is under the surface. You'll just see this fancy Blood Angel shoulder pad. So yeah, and tell me in the comments below how you deal with converting easy to build stuff that you don't like. I just don't feel like there's enough boxes of Primaris options for this new stuff yet. So in the series, I guess, of building the Indomintus box, we're definitely going to be hacking around at some things. Do you know what? It's pretty close to being covered. I have to be careful now though because there's not too much left of the shoulder pad, and it does. Also, it's usually worth closing your eyes when you're doing this because plastic can go pinging around the room. Depends on how quickly you close the snips or how tight the bit is, I guess. I mean, this doesn't always work seamlessly. This connection right now is actually looking like it's going to be okay, hopefully. I'm going to have to take a bit more of this side off. So yeah, at this point I've hacked so much of it away. But you know what, we're right there. I think positioned rightly, you wouldn't. So I'm going to try and put this onto the model then. And then put this over the top and have a look at the handiwork. Like, will it sit nicely? So I feel like I need to take the tiniest bit off the top still. Yeah, really don't want to take too much because I want that good contact point from the easy to build set, because then I can position it much easier. Okay, I'm going to file a little bit of it away. I'll just get rid of the white marks on the plastic where the plastic's essentially been squeezed by the clippers. I mean, you won't notice it when you spray it, but the paint will stick to it better if I get rid of that crap. So, based on where it is and how uneven the joint is now, it's going to be pretty hard to get rid of it all. But I think we're about there. Shit, I just moved the guy on the top. He's not quite glued on. The thing about polycement is sometimes when stuff doesn't stick, when you glue it a second time it'll stick great because you'll have like almost made an indent. So hopefully it'll stick great this time. And yeah, we're going to put some glue into this arm socket. You're going to put your arm on. And then we're going to, I noticed a tiny bit of mold line, or a tiny bit of clipping here. We're going to glue this shoulder as best we can, put actually a healthy amount of glue in here because we're not sure where the contact points are going to be. And then we'll just try and position it like you usually see these models from above, right? So we'll just try and position it that so from above there's no evidence that we decimated his shoulder pad basically, or decimated him. Yeah, I'm feeling sort of happy with that. So we have a nice skull with blood drops on it on the shoulder. That's great. What was left to do? That we need to get the chainsword on still, and yeah, I'm contemplating putting this bit on the front of the bike. I mean, this would really make him stand out as the sergeant. I'm trying to think if it would be better connected up the way or if it would be better going down a bit like it's an armour on the wheel. I think up the way is going to be for the win here. So we'll take, this has already been sprayed, so we'll take off some of this paint because the poly cement just doesn't work well over paint. It'll just melt the paint because like the way it works is it melts the plastic together. So again, I have no idea what this is from, and I have literally no idea when it was even ever sprayed, so that's fine. So we'll put some glue on those edges and we'll see if we can get it to stick. Yeah, if you know what this bit's from, you can let me know in the comments. It must have been from a Blood Angel's Dreadnought, or it could be from like a Baal Predator. I mean, look at the boxes here. I've got just about every. I've got Samurai Guard, I've got Tactical Squads, Death Companies, Vanguard Veterans. I mean, you know, it's going to sit quite nicely actually. That's just like a extra bit of armour on the front of this bike. So we managed to get a Blood Angel shoulder on him. We got this extra bit of armour, whatever that might be. We got a cool, like, he's a beautiful Blood Angels with his wavy hair, or a Blood Angel, sorry, not Blood Angels. We snipped the backpack, so it's just really the chainsword, which they're saying is 37. 37. So it's just a regular chainsword, and I guess the idea is that it attaches down on his leg. Yeah, so it's just a chainsword attached to his leg. I mean, I really feel like a regular chainsword is fine, but like maybe something better. Again, I think we're gonna have a look. I mean, I'm gravitating towards. There's a cool chainsword in the Stern Guard Veteran Squad. I'm pretty sure it's gonna have a hand attached to it. So it's going to have a hand attached to it. So that's going to be no use. I feel like most of the ones in the Death Company box are also going to have hands attached to them. Yeah, they're all going to have hands attached to them. This one with the blood drops on it is cool though. Oh, and there's this one with actual like wings going on it. Interesting. if I did put the chainsword that came in the box on it, is there something I could attach to it? Like, could we attach those wings, like these little wing things, to the top of the chainsword to give it? That one would be the wrong way round, but maybe they have. Do they have left and right wings? Yeah, I mean, I think they, in the again, the Death Company box for the win here. This. Okay, so do you know what? We'll take off the chainsword that came with them. And in the Death Company box, we will take off the. I guess it's going to be the. Right, it's going to go on like that. So we're going to want to take off the right facing wing, which is this one here. I'm not actually sure what these wings are for. They're just like little wings with a blood drop on them. If we look at the Death Company box on the front page, you don't actually see them anywhere. Yeah, I mean, they're not there on the Death Company box, like. Oh, so they're there. They put them on the front of their legs as sort of like a little accent. Well, do you know what? I just recently made and painted 12. It was 11 Death Company because it was for a new army where I wanted just Death Company with lots of chainswords and bolt guns. So if they've used that there as a little accent on his leg, you know, we could use this as an accent on his leg. It would have to go on his other leg. Or let's see, if we put this chainsword in, it's not going to be another really awkward one, is it? Okay, so the chainsword sort of sits coming out the side of him like so. Well, the other option is we use this accent on the shoulder. I mean, we could put on like transfers on these, so we wouldn't need to necessarily put the transfer on the shoulder. We use this accent on the shoulder. It's pretty cool actually. It does fit on the shoulder, so yeah, let's put that on the shoulder. Maybe this guy can have the default chainsword, and what we'll do is we'll try and convert the other guys that are holding chainswords, because that's what I've got lots of. Yeah, so that would fit nicely on that shoulder, and then the chainsword would hopefully go on nicely to his leg. Oh, hold on, there's a snipper mark that I missed, I think. Is it a snipper mark, or has the chainsword got a little dent? I don't know. Well, I've taken it off anyway. The glue is already on, so I'm on borrowed time. Well, then I'm going to wipe. Kind of put too much glue on there, I guess. I think some of it's on my fingers as well. Bingo! So yeah, my first Outrider, I guess. A little bit of extra armour on the front, gun on the side, wing on the shoulder, little decal on the back, and then I think I did a pretty good job of snipping off that shoulder to get the different shoulder pad on. So yeah, I mean, he looks a little bit messy right now, but we'll spray him, and I'm sure when we come back from the spray, he should look pretty cool. Okay.